All right, welcome to the Bama Bake Shack. we uh, we got some white spinnerbait that we gonna tie up today. I done already poured it and cooked it and painted it and cooked it and put the eyes on it and sealed it up, and we gonna make this spinnerbait for you today. And I know I ought to showed you the video of me coloring it all, but we gonna get that next go around maybe. And I'm gonna get the stuff here ready I got all my skirt tabs over here, just gonna be a plain white spinnerbait. And I know it's a lot of ways, folks. You know, a lot of folks do it different ways and this, that, and the other, but this is kind of my way to do it, you know. Seems out to work better for me, and it get everything done, and you know what I mean, it gets it all situated out like it ought to be. So anyway, we gonna clamp it in this vise right here. If I can get this thing situated, get it clamped in this vise right here, and I had to redo it, clamp it. That thing you don't need that to move. See that thing's in there. Alright. And I gotta find my thread. I've been running with some gray thread, I think, in the little bobbin here. I should have had that ready to save time, but I ain't saving no time doing this. We gonna see if we can get this here. I think I'm gonna put some white thread on this time. I got some white. I got a bunch of other color thread. The old lady, she bought several different colors, and she got them here though. She don't think I need to use nothing but white, black, and gray, but I'm gonna find her hiding spot and I'm gonna get into them. And I don't know if y'all know, but y'all might not need this, but I tell you what, that little tool right there, is about the best thing that I've ever seen right there. When I was young, I could hit that little old hole up in there. But it's hard to hit that little thing now. You can't hardly see that. I barely can see how to put the thread through this here. Thread right here, to tell you the truth. But that thing just slides down through that little wire goes through that neck like that there. It'll open up there like that. You get this here thread, and see, I can't hardly see how to do that. And just stick your thread in there kind of like that right there. Get it in there where you can get it. Come up with it and then bring it right out that end. You got your bobbin threaded, ready to go. We're gonna start out here and build a little base on this thing. I'm probably used too much thread on that tag end, but I'd like to get enough where I hold on to it. I'll build me a little base here on this here little spinnerbait. This is a 3/8 ounce poison tail jig, poison tail head spinnerbait. Alright, I'll get that like that there. Now I'm gonna take this here Turk tab, just a regular white skirt tab. I'm gonna lay it in there just, Tell you what, this here get to be a booger sometime. Lay it in here like so. Kind of fan it around there just a little bit. And I'm gonna wrap that around a couple of times, just kind of hold it. And see there, I done messed up already. I forgot to cut that little tag end off right there. I get that skirt spread around there, I ain't gonna be able to cut it off. That ought to work. I'd like to get it started. First thing I'm gonna do is pull this thing up here. So you get it loose, then you can pull it a little bit. Try to even that thing up a little bit. And I pull it some more. Boy, I got that thing off even bad, then. Yeah, that gonna look pretty even right there. Go around one more wrap here. That train moving out there make me think of Booger coming. See, now I gotta get this thing here and try to get it even. All evened out. Get a little bit on the side, a little bit on the top, a little bit on the bottom. And what I'm gonna do here, I always like a good skirt on spinnerbait. I don't know. Some folks cut them a little thin, but I like a good skirt. I always use 2 tabs. At least 2 tabs. If I'm doing a multicolor, I use a tab of white and a tab of chartreuse, you know, like I'm doing a chartreuse. But when I'm doing white, I just use 2 tabs of white. I'd get another tab over here. And I'm gonna start at the bottom this time. Seems like I can just get it all evened out better if I put one at the top and one at the bottom. I don't know. Then you really ain't got to even that tab out. You can kind of go by what you already got right there. And I'm just gonna hold that out like that right there, and I'm gonna give it a little loose wrap or two. And get it evened up some. You do it like that there, you kind of make sure you got everything covered, if you know what I mean. Give it a little bit on the side, and a little bit on the top. Get a bit around there again. That looking pretty good right there. All right, we got that all tied it up right there. Now I'm gonna take these little here. I found some of these little old hair clips. They come on some string stuff here that we bought. Do some. She wanted to buy and do some crappie jig stuff, so like Chanel like stuff, but it had these little hair clips on it. That way we wound up with these hair clips. All right, here we go. We're gonna tighten that up a little bit, and then where it won't come off of there. Don't want that thing to come off of there. No, sir, we don't want it. And we just gonna wrap it. Hey. I just wrap it till I get a good base around there on it. You ain't got to put a whole lot around there right now. That's about 9 or 10 times there. That looks like a pretty good collar on her. All right, now what I'm gonna do now. Now, I get frustrated about this, but I can't do that whip knot, but I can do this right here. And it just about as good as that whip knot. It holds it. It ain't gonna come off. I gotta find my little tool here. I grab that little tool where I can ease it down and come right out. That's one. Uh-oh. My vise turned on me. We're gonna call that 2. Get it right here. Lock it down a little better, then it won't turn so much, maybe. Right. 3. 4. I like to mess it up. You see me use it. I didn't use my little tool to get that knot tied in there. And 5. I always do that about 5 times. All I don't reckon it no. Then I take and I wrap this thing about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I come back and do this here again about 5 more times. Sometimes I get carried away, I get 5. Sometimes I get 3. Sometimes I just get 4. But I lose count. You the one old lady down here talking to me, you know, I lose count. That's 2. 3. 4. And 5. That's 5 of them. And then all I'm gonna do is turn it right around here. Throw that up on the table. And reach it like this right here. Take my scissors and cut that little end off. Now, if other folk don't, I mean, you ain't got to do this here, but I'm going to put I like to put just a touch of this super glue right there on that. Just a touch. Right there on that knot to hold it. And I'm going to come back with some of this here. I mean, you can use whatever this head cement you got. I was going to get some looms, but I couldn't find no looms. I was making an order from Barlow's, and they didn't have the looms. But they had this head cement here, this fly head cement water base. I mean, about the same thing. It dries clear and all that, but they had it, and I said, I ain't going to make no special order. I already made an order, and I can get this here and won't have to pay that shipping again. So. And it's pretty good cement. Now, I tell you the truth, it is. I ain't never used a loom, but so far I'm thinking I'm liking it better than the looms. I mean, of course, I ain't never used it, but as long as it's working out pretty good, you know. You gotta stir that stuff up about time. Sometimes it get to be a booger just to stir up. I think we back. And that brush right there is hard, but it's gonna do what I want to do. I just dip it in there a little bit and put a drop. Ease it around, drop it on there. And it just takes just a little bit there. It's gonna run off a little bit, but it ain't gonna hurt nothing. All that is, it'll seal them threads up and it'll hold them together when it dry. Give that just a minute to dry there. We gonna dig in this old box and get us a blade. I think I'm gonna put a number 4 gold blade on this thing. I mean, we ain't gonna spend a lot of time on it. I ain't gonna do a double blade in it. I got one up at it. I did a double blade on a chartreuse, but I did one just to do one. I just, tell you the truth, me myself, I like that single Colorado blade. I caught about as many fish on that or more than I have the old, what you call it, the other blade. We're gonna go and get this here swivel in there. Now I'm gonna tell y'all what the truth is. It's sure enough. It's nice down here today. Ain't too cold, ain't too hot. And I'm just gonna get that thing in there. Now, it is kind of hard. You know, I had trouble seeing with that needle. Getting this here thing here split apart with these split ring pliers. And getting the thing started too in that little hole. It's about as hard as getting that needle, that thread up through that bobbin without that thread or the We gonna get it did here, I believe. All right, we got it started in there. Got it started. Let me put that top back on that. I'll be done spilled all my head cement. Well, I done dropped that one. Let's see if we can pick it up. I had a magnet here somewhere that I picked this stuff up with. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know what happened to my magnet. Tell you what, that tough on old fat boy, I tell you the truth now. Woo! I gotta find that magnet. Get these pliers here now. I got it in there. Just wrong. Well, y'all believe I done dropped that thing, got messed up with way I gonna turn that ring in. I turned it the wrong way. Oh, I don't know. It don't look like I'm gonna be able to get this spinner on this thing today. I tell you what, it could be worse now. I could have a bunch of swivel without them split rings already on them swivel now. Whoo, I couldn't handle that. We got it on now. All right, we gonna get ready here. We gonna cut these, take our hair bows off. The head cement done set up enough now. We gonna get them off and find my scissors here. And we just gonna cut these little old tabs off. I just like to cut them off. I want them cut loose, you know, but I don't want to leave as much as I can hanging till we get that thing up. Now I trim it up. And we just, y'all don't see that or not, but we just gonna cut them tabs. See, we want the ball to come loose, but I'm gonna leave them long till I get them hanging up right when I get it up and out of there, get my spinner on and get it hanging. And we'll do something. All right. There is a 3-ounce poison tail head spinner bait. Scared it up, ready to put the spinner on. I gotta find my little old pliers. They've been down here messing around stuff, can't find nothing. I hope I got my little old swivels. I had them out there, y'all. I misplaced them. I'm gonna take these little old round nose pliers here. And I'm just gonna bend this wire like so. Bend it around like that. There's several ways you can do this. Some puts a loop on it. I mean, it's all to everybody's preference, I guess. See, I get that thing hooked in there, and I can't finish it off them round. I gotta get these here to come in here and finish that thing off. All right, there it is. A 3 8-ounce poison tail spinnerbait. And I'm gonna show you something else I thought about doing here. Right there where that wire is, where you bend that little wire right there, where you hook that spinner in, that blade might not come out of there, but I like to take just a little super glue. Just a little dab of that super glue and put right there in the crack of that wire. Maybe put just a little bit on both sides. And I guarantee you now, it still might come out, but it's gonna take a little bit after that glue dry. And we're gonna take and the way I trim them skirts, I get that thing just all buffed out there. Kind of like so. Get it to hanging. I don't try to cut too much off. I kind of, whoever buys it probably wants to trim it up a little more. I'm just mostly trying to get it a little bit even down there. Just a little bit on the even side and give it a little haircut. That's about right. That's about like I like it. But I say other folks might not like it. They might want to cut it a little shorter or something. I usually leave it just a touch longer than that, but that's going to work right there. But anyway, that's a 3/8 poison tail spinnerbait. And we get down here one day, we'll show you pouring it up and cooking it and all that. But I already had them poured up, and I just figured I'd put it on here and show you how we put them together down here. And I got these little old things here I put on these hooks because I'm planning on hanging them things up to sell them. And folks gonna be picking them up, looking at them. And I just got these little old things here I put on that hook. Keep them sticking their finger, and I tell them it's on there, and they can take a knife and cut it off. And that ain't nothing, folks, but just some of these little old coffee stirrers, man. You can do a lot of spinnerbaits with all them coffee stirrers, 250 of them, and you don't need but just a little piece. You can do a lot of hooks with it. But anyway, folks, that's all we got today. I say if you like what you see here, just hit subscribe and like button, and if you see anything here you like, and just look us up at Sweet and Sassy Baits on Facebook. Send us a message and we'll get back with you and get you fixed up. But and we appreciate the subscribers we already got. I mean, we got about 80, 81. We getting on up there, and if we can get on up there, I said one time about the 250 mark, but I don't know. We might try. I don't know. I'll let it be a surprise anyway, but we'll let it get up our way. We might do a giveaway there, before we get to 250. But anyway, that's what a poison tail white spinnerbait looks like. All right, folks. Good evening, and until then, until we catch you next time, keep on fishing.